But yeah, so the algorithm, the most important thing about it is, it is designed to show users of social media content that this algorithm deems most likely to be interesting to them. And it's an algorithm because it's automatic. We talked about AI on Thursday. This is probably one of the most sophisticated forms of AI out there currently, at least in the marketing arena. But it actually bases this the score for this content that you put out as to how likely a user is to be interested in it based on their past behavior. So if you can set aside I guess like the overwhelm or maybe the intimidation, if you will, of the word algorithm, or maybe what you know about algorithm, it can actually be really, really interesting.
Exactly. If we step back for just a second, so for as long as social media has been a thing, there's always been an algorithm and how things get, shown to you or in order of placement, but it has become more and more and more important as the more users are on a network. There's only so much space on your screen. So that's why new forms of content have come out. Stories, you'll see that stories, they take up a small footprint across the top and they scroll sideways. That's another way for you to, see and consume content, because, in the big normal newsfeed area, how long can you get on? I wish I had the stat, but every year, the amount of time that people are on social media gets longer and longer. It's over 2 hours a day now. I think it's like 2.75 3/4 hours, something like that. But it's a long time that people are on social media. And even with that, you cannot see all of your friends' posts. So if you're friends with someone, there's a misconception that you're going to see their posts, and go test this yourself. Go look up someone and just think of someone and say, okay, well, I haven't seen their posts in a long time. Go look them up. They've been posting. You're just not seeing them. If you want to see them, you have to interact with some of their content. Then the algorithm will be like, oh, they want to have a relationship on here. So in a nutshell, that's sort of how it works. You have to interact with what you want to see, and then the algorithm will show you more of that.
So. Exactly. So long story short, it's really smart. And it seems to just be getting smarter. And one of the hardest things as a small business owner, or as someone who's helping small business owners, one of the hardest things is that it's constantly changing. Mm-hmm. So we talk a lot. It was February of 2018 where there was some big changes, and they started with all the engagement baiting no-nos and all that. It almost seems like nothing stays the same in social media for very long. And a lot of that has to do with the algorithm. So it used to be wonderful practice to ask for people to like, comment, and share a post to try to get further reach. But now when you do that, it's considered engagement baiting, which we did a whole talk on engagement baiting a couple Mondays ago. So if you're not sure what that is, make sure you head over to the blog and find that, or go to YouTube and you can find that in our past Marketing Monday videos. But it is constantly changing. So you have to stay really relevant and just kind of keep kind of refining your strategy so that you're still getting the best reach possible.
Exactly. And some of the tips that we're going to give you today are things that you can implement, and even as things change, they are going to still stay things that you're going to want to do. Exactly. But first, so there are things that the algorithm looks for, just to kind of give you an idea. Obviously, comments, I just spoke to that. So like if you comment on someone or if you're engaging with that content, obviously the algorithm takes note and they're going to show you more of that. So other things are likes and shares, the time it was posted. So that has a big deal with things. The reason is because obviously if you post at 5 a.m., but your target market, doesn't see it until 10 a.m., then there's a huge gap, and that post sort of dies until then. So when a post is first put out, it's only shown to a very select few of your most engaged people. If they don't comment, like, share, whatever, any of the things that it's looking for, then that post sort of dies because it's using those markers to see if it's interesting content. All right. And then a couple other things is like where, again, if you've got a ton of people in another time zone across the world, now social media levels the playing field. So like if your people are up during the daytime in the UK, then you need to be posting during their time. So there's lots of factors that the algorithm is looking for.
For sure. And the good thing is once you know those factors, you can kind of work on them and leverage them. So, like Julie said, if you're posting at 5 a.m. and you're not getting any interaction, try posting at your most engaged time.
Yep.
So if you have a group, you can see when the most of your group members are active. By going to it's like the admin tab or something like that. We can do a walkthrough sometime, but you can see all of that information, and that information is critical, I think, to you as a small business owner who's trying to get more engagement on social media.
For sure. So
how do you make it work for you, Julie? I love one of the comments we just got. If you think like a machine, then and speak their language, then they'll serve you.
Exactly. We just talked about that too, in collecting people's language, like specifically their language. You're saying, like talk to their pain points, talk to what's important to them, but even like literally in their own language as far as how they describe their pains, those are huge factors. Because if you can connect, these are written words, these are image posts, whatever, but when you can actually get them to stop the scroll, look at your content, and get them to understand that you understand where they are, you're going to make that connection. So the connection is where the algorithm, is that's the thing.
Exactly.
So, all right. So the number one thing that you have to do to get the algorithm to work for you is to obviously be active. You are going to have to jump in feet first. You're going to have to do the thing. You're going to have to commit to it. Okay. So the first thing, so a lot of people, you've got many networks, you've got a profile, a page, a group, maybe, all the things. You're going to have to decide where you want to be. You're going to have to really work one or a couple of those. If you have automation, you probably like an automation dashboard like we have, you probably can hit multiples of those quite easily. But the thing is, you're going to just have to commit. It's just like an exercise routine or whatever. You're going to have to say, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to get started, because it's not bad once you get started.
Exactly. And let me just clarify, she's not just talking about posting. So post often is actually the next tip that we want to put out there. But being active also means doing things like consuming other people's content, scrolling your newsfeed a little bit. Maybe that sounds counterintuitive, and I'm not encouraging you to get sucked in, but there is a whole strategy of getting more visible by watching stories. That actually does help you in your algorithm score in terms of being active. So you can just click the stories and watch those, and that will actually help your content get seen more as well, because it's looking for, it wants to reward those who are using the platform.
Exactly. We have a point a little bit later, but to piggyback on that, and we'll circle back to this, but social is a two-way street, or the algorithm wants it to be a two-way street. It's not just a projection of your content. It is going to require for the algorithm to take note, some engagement coming back. But when you can start the conversation, not just through your posts, but through engaging with other people's content, that's already sparking the algorithm. So I've seen, it was a big deal. Like if you're going to go live, to go comment on 10 people's posts, a few minutes before you're going to go live, it fires up the algorithm to say, oh, she's being active, and because if the other people that you commented with, have a conversation back, they're more likely to see that notification of that live or the post of the live.
All right. So second tip, post often. Everyone wants to know, well, exactly how much should I post? We like to see a couple times a day if possible, at least once a day if that's all that's sustainable. But you want to post regularly. You can't just post once a week and have it be, random. Oh, I forgot to post this week, and expect the algorithm to be working for you in the capacity that it can.
Exactly. And number 3 is consistency. So you're going to set that schedule for whatever that post often is. Come up, set something, and then you're going to be consistent with it. Again, like your exercise program, like whatever it is that will help you to get consistent. Set a schedule, get a planner, use automation like a dashboard, whatever it is. But consistency is rewarded by the algorithm. There is no question in that. So whatever the frequency is fine. It's just, it needs to be at consistent times and a consistent level of posting. And again, it can be just once a day. That's fine. If you're a member of your social plan, we do the 3 posts a day strategy, where we follow the proprietary MVP strategy, where we're, posting out to get new people. And then we're a visibility post where we're trying to get engagement. And then we're going to hit them with a promo or a presence post for them to get to know you. So whatever it is that you commit to, just be sure to stay consistent with it.
Exactly. And Sarah wants to know if she does all 3 of the posts a day. I think she's talking about in your social plan, how much do I need to post in addition to that, if any? So 3 posts a day, I think it's robust for pretty much every platform except for Twitter. Twitter likes a lot of tweets because the life on those is just a few seconds long. But most of our small business owners don't really have that strategy there, since it's more for just a part of your sales funnel. Julie, sorry. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, no, Twitter so we attract the people that are probably watching this video are network marketers, mom and pops, Etsy store owners, e-commerce, and Twitter specifically isn't the top network for that. Let me put it that way. It's a great place to have, but again, we talked about, you try to be everywhere, but you can't necessarily be everywhere. So Twitter does like a lot of content, and it's just hard for a lot of people to do. So, but again, whatever that you're trying to accomplish or you set a goal to do, just be sure that you do that in some level of consistency.
Exactly. And what Camille just added on, yeah, you are right. The algorithms do value consistency. I would say that 3 times a week is not really enough to put out there, especially if those 3 posts are just going to be promotional. That's what we see small business owners tend to do when they're only posting a few times a week, is they lean really heavily on like promotional posts and niche posts. And we know for a fact that just posting about your niche and just posting about your sales is the best way to train people to scroll right past your content, because the reality is most people aren't interested in buying right away. So we like to see it happen a little bit more than that, especially since I know Sarah is a YSP member. The 3 posts a day is great. That's especially since you can be consistent with it because you have those 3 posts queued up. But if you are just starting and you can only post 3 times a week, just make sure that they're not only about your fitness business or only about your skincare business. You do still want to cast that net and bring a lot of people in so that you have more eyes on your content, so that you can get more eyes on your content.
Exactly. So again, with that, not everyone, I've used this several times, but not everyone, if you're in real estate, not everyone is ready to buy a home at this moment. Okay. So you got to think about, no matter what your niche is, everyone is not in a position. Might want to start a fitness program right now, but I'm not necessarily going to, and I don't want to see every post that you're putting out to be, your fitness routine, buy my shake, whatever it is. You're going to train me to not stop and look. So having some other off niche content that will get me engaged with you as a person and not just as the face of your business will help the algorithm. If you are posting 100% promotional, then you are doing yourself a disservice with the algorithms, period. So, and that's going to bring us to number 4, is to be original, to think outside the box. Since we brought up, the MVP, these are going to be really shine through on your P post, so your promotion and presence post. You want to be yourself. You want to be the face of your business and let your personality shine through. People do business with people, so they want to get to know you first. I would say 9 times out of 10. I mean, yes, you can throw up a promotional post, you can throw up a before and after, and you can get sales. But ultimately, what's going to keep them coming back to you is the relationship that they build with you. They're not going to want to use another realtor or another skincare person or whatever when they are actually getting, building a relationship with you. So being original and putting that type of content out there, if you put out motivational posts, sort of making them your own and putting your own spin on them to let people get to know you.
Exactly. And don't expect to put up a Will Smith Oscars meme and get a whole bunch of credit with the algorithm right now, because that is, that's already a popular post. That's already something. And I think that it's definitely that's what we're talking about. Whenever you want to make sure that your content's original, don't just share something that you saw someone got a ton of likes on and then you're doing it yourself, because that doesn't count as highly to the algorithm as creating something original.
Exactly. And you can really think about, and this applies to any type of post, but like right now, reels are hot. We're going to talk about the use of images and videos, but no matter what you are putting out, they really need to, try to showcase you as your original person. And, there are strategies to play on what's relevant right now. So, but think of a creative way to do that. All right. And so that brings us to images and videos. Videos are the hottest thing on social right now, especially Reels, YouTube Shorts, TikTok. All of that short form video is huge. One of the reasons is because, again, with the algorithm, it doesn't take up as much of a footprint. They can hold your attention, which is what the biggest thing that we'll say Facebook, any of them, are trying to do is to keep you on their platform a long time. And those types of content are super consumable. They're really quick. They get you sucked in. Who hasn't seen, you sit there and you look up and it's 22 minutes later and you're like, oh my gosh, where did that time go? And you're just scrolling through reels or whatever. So, but using those to get engagement, great images, again, things that aren't necessarily on brand or on topic. So motivational, great images like that. Great selfies of yourself. You can take great selfies just from your iPhone or your Android, whatever you have. The cameras today are amazing. So be sure to try some short form video, and with your images, make sure that they just have a great look to them and that they can catch people's attention.
Exactly. And that's where a big part of being original comes in too, because so often we see people just nab graphics or nab pictures of other people to just try and post something, when really like a candid photo of yourself will go a lot further. So
Right.
The
And in
next,
fact, can I say really quick too that there is this huge misconception that you can just go and screenshot someone else's image or go to a meme site or go to someone else's page and just copy that post and repost it as yourself without credit. You are responsible for crediting that producer of that content. So every image is copyrighted. So the original person that created it owns the copyright to it. If you go and you copy it, even if you credit the person you copied it from, you don't know that they didn't steal it. That is such a huge thing right now. So using royalty free and using your own images are a big thing. In your social plan, all of ours are royalty free, so you don't have to ever worry about that. But it is a big deal that people, and you will ruffle the wrong feathers. You can ruffle the wrong feathers,
especially if you take them from some of these big guys. They will
like
come
Getty.
after you.
They will, and send you a bill for like $2,200. I've seen it several times.
I know, everyone. They come to Julie when they get in trouble instead of on the front end when they should.
Exactly.
All right. So another good strategy, and honestly, this is why I catch some live videos. I know that Deanne's, I wouldn't catch it every Wednesday at lunchtime if she didn't do this, but tag others when you have a big post. Don't ask people to tag others, but tag people in your group, tag your top 5 who engage with you a lot. You'll see us do that sometimes from time to time. We'll tag, a couple of you who show up all the time: Savita, Deanne, Mary Alice, Marcy, all of you who support us and have been supporting us for a long time. A lot of times we'll tag you in our group to help with that reach. And that is a big algorithm thing that helps kind of, massage it and get that post, especially if it's a message or something time sensitive, like we want people to know about a live or about changes. That's why we do that. And that's why you should do that too, especially if you have a live video or something like that. You just want to be sure that you're not tagging people who are going to be mad at you for tagging. Don't tag 100 people just because you can and out of the blue.
Yeah, and you really can't. So that was going to be my point, is that you will go to Facebook jail for tagging too many people at one time. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you want to be strategic about tagging, but it is an excellent use. Especially, we talk a lot about having a business bestie that will comment on your posts to help get the algorithm going. So the people that you tag, it needs to either be people that that will comment and maybe share, or it needs to be someone that the content is directly relative to, or and that they would comment back to you. So that's the point, is to get them to comment on the post. Comments equal engagement, 100%.
Exactly. And make sure that you're not asking people to tag, because that is a form of engagement baiting, and that will either get your post shut down or it will just totally kill it in terms of reach.
Exactly. So like it'll be hidden, basically. It just shuts it down. So we've done a lot of tests with a lot of these things to know them to be true. So all righty. So one other thing is relative keywords, things that you are, whatever the post is about, to be sure that it's going to speak their language with keywords. So there's a few reasons for this. A lot of posts get actually, Facebook is a search engine into itself. So if you go in, you actually can look for posts on certain topics. So if you'll start trying to lead with some of those keywords, key phrases, and if people are looking for something, you can be found that way. It's also going to signal to the algorithm, obviously, what the post is about. And if it's a relevant or something that the algorithm is deemed that is getting a lot of content, it will actually show as suggested. It'll come up faster in their searches. So it's going to also just be a key point that if it's a pain point for someone and you've got the keyword right there, it's going to let them know if they want to stop and read the post, because that's another big thing, is, actually getting them to stop to read it and not just scroll right by. So having those
Exactly. And
are a
for
big
those
deal.
of you who join us for content class every Tuesday, we build those working your keywords in that SEO into every post that we help you create. So you're good there. Hashtags is similar to keywords, but they are used a little differently. And hashtags are used differently across all the platforms. Obviously, Instagram, it's still more popular there, but using a few well placed high keyword hashtags on Facebook is starting to become a really good strategy there as well. So you want to use those because it serves as a directory. We did a whole training on hashtags and advanced hashtag strategy in our Take Action program. But long story short, they basically provide a roadmap and help the algorithms and help people be able to find your content in with just the search of a word.
Exactly. They're not as prevalent on Facebook, but they are, again, it's looked at sort of as that keyword. So it works there. They are searchable. They are clickable to find more content. But one little hashtag strategy I like on Facebook are the long, funny ones. Because again, you're doing everything that you can do to stop the scroll. So I love to see a well placed on Facebook, not necessarily Instagram, but sorry, not sorry, or, longer, funny ones. And so that's a great way just to be seen with hashtags. All right. So we touched on this a lot. This is the last one. Engage with others. So this is before you post, after your post, answering all your comments on your post, going to other people's content and being active, showing up in groups where your potential target market is, being active. We talked about being active earlier, and engaging there. So that is how you prospect and find people and bring them into your circle or into knowing what you do. Showing up and actually, engaging. That's what the whole point of the platform is to be social. So, and not just post and run or post and ghost, as you hear all the time. So
You took the
best
words right out of my mouth.
best practices would be to, get up in the morning, go out, seek out some some content, things that are relevant to you, say hello to a few people. Again, these can be people that are on your profile that are, just friends, whatever, showing the algorithm that you are active. Then post, be sure to comment. You can come back on your own post. If no one comments, you can come back on your own post and tag them, tag a few people, ask what they think. Just be sure to comment and engage with every single person that comments on your post.
Exactly. It's such a missed opportunity when you do have someone answer your question or do give you their perspective and then you don't bother to say anything back. Yeah, that's another way to kind of train people to just not talk to you. So social media is definitely meant to be that, and it's meant to be a two-way street. And I think it's so easy because as small business owners, we have a ton of things to do. And of course, we all know that Facebook or the news feed anywhere can suck you in.
Mhm.
So we tend to, we talked a lot in our productivity training about how you should stay off of your news feed and things like that. And that is still
Still the
very
case.
important advice. But you got to set a timer and you got to do, 10 minutes here and then 10 minutes here so that you are still checking those boxes to make sure that you have the algorithm working for you as hard as it possibly can.
Exactly. I do that. I try to be on for 10 minutes, 3 times a day, just like we post 3 times a day. So I'll try to go in and actually have real conversations. I comment on people's things. I give encouragement. You'll see, we have a lot of places to show up. So I'll do a lot of that in our group and I'll do it on my personal and even on our page when we don't have as much engagement on our page. Hint, hint. So, but that is to say that you have to work at all of the things to be successful and to get the algorithm to work for you. But
Exactly.
Try those few tips, get consistent. I would say consistency and commenting and engagement are, and being social are going to be your biggest wins for today. If you'll do this for, 3 days straight and then go back and look and see, how things are going, you'll notice that you'll start getting people to reach out to you or to comment on your posts at the very least.
Exactly. Yeah, and we did a training on social interaction strategy. We just looked back at it in preparation for this, and it was so good. And it's basically, we didn't realize at the time what we were doing. We called it how to get more engagement, but we were basically showing people how to sidestep the negative sides of the algorithm and really use it to their advantage. So you might want to be watching out for that to possibly go on either Supercell, or we might even put it out as a free master class here in the next week or two. So
it was a good one. I'm always like, when we go back, when we're trying to prep for what we're, going to bring, we go back and look at old stuff. I'm like, man, we need to recycle some of that.
Not too shabby, huh?
Yeah.
All right.